With U.S. troops in Afghanistan waiting to come home, anger is boiling over in Washington over the Defense Department's proposed budget cuts. Pointing to events in the Middle East and Ukraine, lawmakers on the Senate's Armed Services Committee challenged Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel. Senator James Inhofe.
This budget lacks a realistic assessment of the increased risk. President Obama seems unwilling to accept that the tide of war is not receding.
Fellow Republican Senator John McCain was equally blunt.
Your timing is exquisite. You're coming over here with a budget that we agree on, at least on the numbers, at a time when the world is probably more unsettled than it has been since the end of World War II.
Hagel argued despite steep cuts, the proposed budget matches resources to strategy.
The events of the past week underscore the need for America's continued global engagement and leadership. The President's defense budget reflects that reality.
Caps imposed by Congress are forcing the Pentagon to cut its budget to less than $500 billion, down about $200 billion from wartime highs. To do that, officials are proposing reducing the number of Army troops from 520,000 to about 440,000, the lowest since 1940. And they're looking at eliminating older equipment, like Cold War A-10 attack jets, leaving what officials say would be a more modern force, better prepared to take on terrorists and conventional forces. It's all leaving lawmakers with a simple question.
Does this preclude us from a full spectrum of operations?
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Martin Dempsey, admitted there are risks.
One of those is the conventional fights, and in particular land forces, which will take longer to generate.
Secretary Hagel also warned against another $75 billion in cuts over the next 2 years under a budget deal struck by lawmakers last December.
The result of sequestration level cuts would be a military that could not fulfill its defense strategy, putting at risk America's traditional role as a guarantor of global security and ultimately our own security.
The White House is proposing ways to free up additional funding for the military to help ease the pain, but it will be up to lawmakers to decide if and how that happens. Jeff Seldin, VOA News, Washington.